Hi again. Just a quick walkthrough of installing the relevant libraries to do a minimum viable Flask application, so we can kind of kick off the basics. Now I've already gone ahead and installed some of these. So what I did was made sure that first of all we're in our virtual environment. That is critical. That is key. So basically, pip install flask. Now I've already installed Flask, and it will probably say that, but let's run that anyway. So it says, yeah, already satisfied, already installed. Then pip install pip minus minus upgrade. And just make sure we're running the latest version of pip. It's already been done. Pip install, and then python dash dot env. The reason we're installing python dash dot env is that the way that I load my .env file with all the secrets, so passwords, usernames, URLs to the MongoDB and everything else is in my .env file. So I install that to be able to use that. And then obviously pip install green unicorn, which I've also already done. But I'm just showing you there that that's what it is. And what I might actually do as well is pip install auto pep 8. The reason is I want to use that as my linter to check code. Then we do a pip freeze to see what we've installed, and then a pip freeze, and we pipe it to the requirements of text file. So I'm going to overwrite the one I already have. It's good. And if we have a look at that, we can see that's okay. I've also created a proc file because it's telling Heroku that with the requirements.txt file, these are the packages that we need to install to run our application in Heroku. And the proc file is this is how we run the download. In other words, it's a web app. We're using the Gunicon web server, and we're running this particular app. What I've also done is I've added to gitignore my .env file, which I have there, which I won't click on at the moment because it has all my secrets. And then we have a config py file, which is empty at the moment, but that will contain all the Flask and Flask extension configurations. So all the various parameters for email, users, everything else that we need. It's just easier to keep that in a separate file. And then up.py, I have basically a minimum viable Flask application. So we'll have a few imports. This piece here is what ensures that I can load my .env file with the relevant parameters. This we should be familiar with. It's basically saying the app is a Flask app. There's a name, static folder is static, template folder is templates. So these are already default. I just specify them as paranoia settings. This is our first route, so the landing page, which will just return this is a minimum viable Flask application with a few extras. Now, I'm a bit of a lazy git, so what I've done with the main module here is, or the main application is, if I have app debug set to on in my .env file, then I want debug to be true. So that will be true for my local environment, for the review applications, but not for staging nor for production, where I will not set any environment. So basically what happens is in any production type environment, debug will be set to false. But in the cases where we have the environment variable app debug equal to on, debug will be true. So this is just easy. We don't need to modify the files when we're messing about. So in theory, then, with a bit of luck, we will clear. Sorry, we can do Python 3 app.py run server. So there we go. It seems to be okay. Let's click on the link. And we get, this is a minimum viable Flask application with a few extras. So now we know that that works. Let's go back to that. Let's do Control C. Let's break that. Now, what I'd like to do is I want to obviously push this. I'm in my GAF dev environment. I can see that I've made a few changes. So let's click on one of these. Let's click on the requirements of text. Now, one of the things I like about Visual Studio Code is I can see that the changes, this is what was before the changes, this is what's happened after the changes. So we can do that even for git ignore. We can see that we've added .env. It's very clear about the changes that we've made to our code, and I really like that about Visual Studio Code. It just really makes it easy. App.py, we've obviously added all the various components. Config is empty, that's fine, and we should be okay. And it's not uploading anything else, good. So we can do this. Created a minimum viable Flask application, installed Flask, gummy corn, python-.env, auto pep 8 because I prefer that as a linter. Say what else? And updated pip. Created .env and added it to .git ignore. Completed requirements.text and proc file 4 for Heroku. See what else. Actually, we can do this just to make it easier to read. Completed up, actually. Pi. The empty place holder file config.py to contain the Flask and Flask extensions configurations. Okay. And then we click on changes, stage all changes. Click on commit, and remember, commit all, signed off, not amend. Then we do that, and then we click on that again, and we do a push. So it has an upstream branch. Would I want to create it? Yes, please do. So what it's doing is connecting to the GitHub repository. It's creating my gaf_dev branch, pushing the changes to that part of the repository. And then it asks me, do I want to create a pull request? Do I? I do. Now, there are things, I could ignore this, and I could merge what the changes I made to the master branch without issuing a pull request. However, let's do create pull request. Let's merge changes from this branch to the master branch. We have what we need, and let's create. And it will then give me the additional information. So pull request number 2. I can add a comment. I don't need, I can just merge pull request, create merge commit. Now, I have a choice here to delete this branch. And the reason why it's a good idea to delete this branch and create a new one based on the master is I've made changes to my master branch, to my development branch, but everybody else in the development team can make changes to their development branches, merge them with the master branch. So there are a number of changes there. So I would want that code when I do my next development piece. I will delete my branch. I will delete the remote branch and the local branch, because this will now be added to, there we go, added to the master branch. However, I want to go back to master. I want to create a branch from master. I want to call it gaf_dev. So next time I won't delete it. I'll just keep it as it is, base it on gaf dev there. Good. So that's then I'm back to my environment, my virtual environment, using my gaf_dev branch so I can break stuff and do whatever weird, wonderful stuff. And the good thing is this: if I do end up making complete and utter mess of things, that won't matter because the master branch is clean. Okie doke. Enjoy.